got Justin Midgley here with us today. I want to go through and interview him because he's one of the guys that crushed it this last year in real estate, all door to door, and just have him help you understand what it really takes, what you need to do, how to get from where you're at right now to the level you want to be. So you guys have all watched a lot of the Alex Jimenez stuff where he talked about his story. Justin and Alex were fighting neck and neck for Rookie of the Year. How far did you lose to Alex by this last year?
It was, in revenue aspect, it was like $5,000.
Isn't that crazy? Guys, $5,000 separated him and the top guy. And I'm rubbing salt in the wound right now because it was hard for him not to take the trophy home. But he made over $150,000 this last year doing door-to-door real estate. Justin, tell us, I'm going to take you back to your start of real estate after you passed your test. Why did you come and work with me directly?
Honestly, that's a great question. So a little bit of backstory. I did a little bit of door-to-door sales before I got into real estate. And as I was going into real estate, I wanted to have the opportunity to get involved with, investing and just being a higher producing kind of a real estate agent. So I took it upon myself to interview loads of brokerages. I think I ended up with interviewing 18 different brokers around Utah County. Yeah, it was
awesome.
It was like setting appointments for like 2 a day for like a couple of weeks almost. It was crazy. So after interviewing with all these people, there was only 2 that told me my goals were attainable. It was Duane and it was one other broker, but the other broker, there wasn't actually a mapped out process on how to do it. He's just like, oh, that's totally attainable. Like, we can get you there. And everybody else just said my goals were way too high. Like,
what were your goals? What did you want to hit?
So in my first 12 months, I wanted to average 1 home a month, because on average, the first year person will do about 3 homes in their first year. So my goal is I wanted to hit 1 a month for my first 12 months. I ended up doing 16.
Awesome.
And when I told these other brokers my goals, there is one in particular that I find this story very funny, because once I told them that that was my goal, they just got really quiet. They looked at me and they're like, son, you'd be very lucky if you got 3 in your first 6 months. You'd be in the top 1% if that happened. And I'm just like, well, if you don't have enough faith in your training program, I'm out. So,
right.
And that was pretty much the story. So when I landed with you, the proof was in the pudding. I had talked to you. I had seen what your sales process was like, decided to hop on, do your coaching program, and pretty much the rest is history.
Money. So Justin, there's a lot of people on YouTube right now watching this that would kill to go make 150 grand this year that aren't producing. Was it easy?
No, not at all.
Okay.
In order to perform at a level that's pretty high, you do have to sacrifice a lot of comforts. And if you've ever done door to door, it's not comfortable, but it's the most productive way to use your time. I'm thoroughly convinced. I've tried some cold calling. I've tried other things. It pales in comparison to going door to door. It is much harder, but if you can establish a process that works and you can just keep your mindset right, I mean, the sky's the limit. But no, it was pretty dang difficult.
So what do you feel like has been some of the best things you've been able to take from the coaching program and apply directly into your business to get you producing fast?
I would say the biggest thing for me was a knowledge base. I came into real estate knowing next to nothing. So I was able to establish a good foundation. And then from that foundation, I learned a really good way to start off my pitch. I learned what neighborhoods I need to target. And then from there, I was able to establish like an ideal client. Once I was able to find my ideal client, I find those neighborhoods, knock on the doors. When I find my ideal client, I already know what objections they're going to have because of the training. I know how to overcome those objections. And then I know how to get them to basically how to get them to want it.
No, isn't that huge?
Yeah, it's massive.
So
made my job fairly easy.
As you think about objections, you said, hey, once I knock a certain neighborhood, I already know what objections they're going to have. Tell us a little bit more about that. Are people coming up with random objections all the time that you've never heard of now?
They're all objections are pretty much canned in just a couple of categories. Obviously the phrasing is different, but the concern is always going to be within just a couple of simple categories, like timing the market, prices are too high, interest rates are too high, whatever. Like there's certain objections that all resolve around these same concerns. And as soon as you can understand how to ask them the right questions, they can end up solving their own concerns.
So there's a process.
Yes.
Isn't that ridiculous? People, if you're watching right now and you think you can just go out and pound doors, there are so many people, like Justin figured out, 18 brokerages is what he interviewed to be able to find the right spot. Now you can jump on YouTube and you can watch video after video after video, and there's tons of people out there. They're going to say, hey, do this, do that. But until you learn the right questions to ask and the right methodology and the right timing to do it, you're not going to get to where you're going to be selling at high levels. You're going to be watching more YouTube videos, and you're going to go out and try it. And you're going to get kicked in the face, and you're going to say, oh, this is horrible. I'm not winning. I'm going to go back to cold calling. I'm going to start calling friends and family again. I'm going to do something different. So when do you feel like it finally clicked for you, Justin? How long did it take before you're like, okay, now I understand what Duane's teaching me and now how to apply it?
So it did hit relatively quick. So as part of like my beginning intro story, I guess, whatever, when I first started being in real estate, in my first 30 days of being an agent, I had 3 listings that I had got through the stuff Duane taught me. All 3 of them are under contract to be sold, and all 3 of those sellers were looking to purchase a home.
Now, wait a minute. How quick?
30 days.
30 days. You had 3 listings and 3 buyers within 30 days of doing my program.
Correct. And it was as the market was starting to shift. So it's not like it was, you could pound on a door and it was everybody's wanting to sell a home. It's when interest rates were starting to go up. It's when it was a little bit more difficult to get any traction whatsoever. And the coaching programs and the training that you were able to give me helped me overcome a lot of those objections, because there's always answers. People just don't actually care enough to go research it until somebody could help them figure it out for themselves.
Absolutely. So people are genuinely interested. They just aren't getting someone to knock on their door and give them all the details they need to be able to transact and move forward with real estate.
The only thing that they look at is social media and the news. And if that's how they get all their real estate information, I don't think anybody would ever move again.
I love it. I love it. So advice you would give, first of all, let me just ask you, it's been a rougher market for a lot of people. That's why a lot of people are looking for training. They're looking for different ways, even in a seller's market where there's no inventory. There's a lot of people struggling there to be able to sell homes because they don't have inventory to sell, or you've got the opposite effect where the market's slowed down and there's a lot of inventory. So what would you say is the top 3 things that people need to do to be able to go be successful in the rest of 2023? Because we're almost halfway through.
Yeah. So I think the first one that blares out to me louder than anything else is don't get inside of your own head, because there's no such thing as a good market or a bad market. Every market out there will benefit a different type of person. So if you know how to market to that person, you'll always find business no matter what the market is. So don't get inside of your own head would, I think, be one of the top ones. You can always find a way to sell an idea. The second one I would say is really dedicate yourself to learning and training. Because if you're not role playing, if you're not practicing, you will lose those sales skills. And then you're just going to get your teeth kicked in next time you go knocking on doors. Because if you don't know what you're going to say, you automatically lose all your power on the doors and people are just going to walk all over you. So if you train and you're focused, you're going to have a lot more power on the doors. And the third one would be, it kind of goes pairing with the training, but you just got to go out there and do it. I mean, if you go out there and you watch 7 hours of YouTube videos, like great, you learned a lot maybe, but until you actually go out and do it, nothing's ever going to happen.
Completely agree. Are you on pace to do better this year than you did last year?
Yes. In fact, with what I've already closed and what I have under contract, I'm already like where I was last year.
In May?
Yes.
So essentially you're on pace to double your production from last year based off of the systems and trainings that you're doing.
Yeah. I've closed 6 already, and I have 6 under contract with another listing coming to market.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's phenomenal. And I know that you'll probably even ramp up a little bit more from that as you continue to pound and grow and learn just a little bit better as you tweak some fine tune things and get there. There's no doubt in my mind, Justin, since I've watched you a year into real estate, and you're now going to end up closing over $300,000 in GCI in your pocket. That's phenomenal. That's 9 million plus in production. You know, just in a year and a half. And most agents would die to have a $10 million year. So appreciate you dropping some of your knowledge with us today. And guys, just so you know, it's attainable. If you just go out and work hard, apply the systems that we teach in the coaching program, ask the right questions, and work. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to fall in your lap. People aren't just going to hand you $300,000 for looking pretty and walking around getting hot or cold outside. You've got to engage in real estate. Justin is proof in the pudding. I appreciate you throwing us your knowledge and giving us the top 3 things and just showing people how to grind and that it's doable. So thanks for being on today, Justin.
Yeah, thanks for having me.